Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tempcast, episode number 28. Today, I'm joined by Steven.
Hello, everybody. How are we all doing this evening?
We're doing quite well. And also, tonight, we are joined by public defender Eric Zander.
I did it. Wow. Whoa, I'm defending the public. Oh, I feel so proud. That's one of my biggest accomplishments this week. My second one, aside from my very fancy promotion, is that, guys, I bought a PS5.
Whoa. Really?
That's the real reveal. Who cares about that whole job thing? I'm going to be gaming. I'm going to be gaming constantly. There's no games out for it. I didn't buy any games, but I got that system. I got that locked down.
Dude, is this real?
This is real. No, what? I swear, on Sony Direct, I was able to get into the queue instead of saying more than an hour, because normally when I try, it says, "Oh, you'll make it to the front of the line in more than an hour." It gave me 10 minutes. I got in. I bought it. It costs $530 after tax. Boom, coming to my place.
Dude, congrats.
Thank you so much.
Kudos on keeping that on the lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knew this was coming. That is unreal. Wow. How did you keep that locked? That's unreal, dude.
Yeah, it was hard. That's the real news.
That is huge. Alan John, reintroduce him. PS5 owner, Eric Zander.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome GBAtemp's official PS5 owner, Eric Zander. I mean, for real though, congratulations on that. I wish I could purchase a PS5. I wish I had the money to purchase a PS5, let alone actually have it. Do you have it on you, or do you just order it?
I ordered it. It's still being shipped here. My card was charged. Don't worry, I'm going to flip it. I'm scalping it. I'm going to sell it for... I'm just kidding.
Good. Excellent.
All those things that I said about scalpers, well, I've changed my mind.
All of a sudden, I had a bit of a change.
I was like, this was $530, but I could sell it for $730 or maybe even more.
You could sell it for $1,000 and then buy 2 more PS5 and then sell those $1,000 each. And that's how you do profit.
And I could justify it by saying, I'm giving people in my community jobs or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. I'm providing a valuable service.
That's a cool reference to episode 17.
Yeah, what up, yo? Shout out to my homie, episode 17.
Well, now that I'm a official PS5 owner, I actually cared to watch the PlayStation State of Play broadcast. I was disappointed by it, but I watched it. Did either of you guys see it at all?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Well, I actually knew the answer to that question, but let me...
Eric, stop fucking tearing down the illusion of our show. This is what...
I already knew the answer.
We had such good flow. That was so natural.
Yeah. Speaking of the flow, no. So it was kind of a boring presentation. It was 30 minutes long. They mentioned Crash 4 is heading to the PS5. It's got some new stuff going on. It's going to look much prettier than the original version. The cool thing is about that is if you have the PS4 version, digital or physical, the upgrade to PS5 version is free, which is cool for me because I bought the PS4 version, but I never played it yet.
It's very cool.
Returnal. We looked at that for a little bit. We got some gameplay. I don't think we found out any new information about it aside from, you die a lot and then you come back a lot, which is not to be confused with Deathloop, where you die a lot and then come back a lot, but you have to kill a bunch of other people, which we also saw a bit about Deathloop. That looks kind of fun, except I didn't realize that it would be a first person kind of thing, which is kind of takes me out of it a little bit. And a lot of it was just cutscenes or pre-rendered things like that. What else looked interesting? Did you guys at least see about Knockout City?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Wait, is Knockout City? Is that the right one that I'm thinking about? The dodgeball one? Yeah. That's a dodgeball one. It's basically a battle royale, but you're playing dodgeball. It's pretty neat. You just throw balls at people. They do cool curves and shit like that.
Wouldn't that get you on a sex offender list, throwing your balls?
Yeah, but it's a video game, so it's okay. I'm not gonna push that. So then there's a martial arts game called Saifu. All we saw is just some samurai dude punching a lot of people, and that was about it. So that looks kind of interesting. That's gonna be on PS4 and PS5. So we also looked at Solar Ash, which was by the guys who did Hyper Light Drifter. This looks pretty cool. It's like you're sort of skating around a large open world, traveling really fast, doing cool platformy stuff. It's going to be another Five Nights at Freddy's. Children will be happy about that. Super scary, I guess. Oddworld Soulstorm. I know that we've talked about Oddworld before on the podcast. I don't think you guys have played it before, but I really enjoyed. I played it on the PS1, and I played the remake of the first one on the PS4. Now, Oddworld Soulstorm, which is going to come out for the PS4 and 5, is a remake of the second game of the PS1 game. So, but it has a different name. So it's going to be pretty much playing exactly the same as the last one. So I expect it to be good. It's a fun sort of like, they call it a 2.9D platformer, but it's really just a...
What is it, a fucking Kingdom Hearts sequel?
Exactly. It's like maybe 2.5. No, I think it's just like a 2D platformer, but it looks cool. Kena Bridge of Spirits. I honestly don't even remember that trailer, to be honest with you. I watched it and it seemed kind of forgettable for me. So I'm going to brush past that, just like they seem to brush past everything else. All right. So we're getting finally Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, which is not confusing, but it is by the people who did Kingdom Hearts. So that would explain the weird naming, but this is actually called Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is the second one. It's going to only be on the PS5, which is sort of what I expected. Lots of people were thinking that all of the Final Fantasy VII games, the remake games, were going to be on PS4, because after all, why would they put part 1 on the PS4 and then have the other parts on PS5? But then you have to remember, this is Square Enix we're dealing with. So, you know, they're no stranger to putting things on multiple platforms and making you buy a whole bunch to get the whole story. That said, if you own Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 on the PS4, you will be able to get the PS5 version for free, which has... They say graphics updates. They basically showed the difference between the two. Visually, it just seemed like some lighting, some texture. It was not that big of a difference, but it will have faster loading times. I believe that it's going to be 60 frames per second.
It wasn't originally? I thought it was 60 FPS on the Pro.
Was it? Okay, well, I know that this will have you have the option between either like 4K or 60 frames per second, like what to focus on. And it's like, can we just have both? No. Come on, man. No, never. But the load times will be much faster, which is cool. But the important thing is the fact that the PS5 upgrade, aside from being free for if you have it for the PS4, will have a DLC that you can purchase a DLC. I believe you could purchase it. I don't think it comes free. It's like a side story with Yuffie.
So what it is if you purchase the PS5 version, you get it for free. If you buy the PS4 version and get the free upgrade to the PS5 version, you have to purchase the Yuffie episode separately.
Okay, that makes sense. Which is
typically confusing for Square Enix.
You want me to make it even more confusing? Is the fact that next month, March, one of the, I'm putting big quotation marks up, free PlayStation Plus games, I guess it's more fair to say included PlayStation Plus games, is Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PS4. However, here's the catch. If you're playing the PS Plus version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, you will not be eligible for the PS5 upgrade. So if you want to play the Yuffie episode, you have to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake either for the PS4 and then the DLC, or for the PS5 where it'll come free. All of that makes sense, right?
Yep. Yeah, of course. What's confusing about that?
Yeah, no, nothing at all.
I was just going to say, just getting back to how confusing all this is, there was a minor controversy when Remake released that there was no like part 1 on the box or anything like that.
Yeah.
And now there was also a minor controversy that it deviates from the storyline of the original, but like the original storyline still seems to be in play in a certain way as like an alternate timeline. So it's almost like a side story or I don't know, like a sequel or something. And so like that's all very confusing with the title of Remake, and now all of a sudden they are doing they're doing like an enhanced re-release of a remake of a game that's already kind of not a remake, and they threw in a word integrate, which like nobody really knows. It might be a real word, you never know with Square Enix, but like they're really just making this as confusing as it could possibly be.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that they remade a game but also sort of made it a sequel to a game. Let me talk about Kingdom Hearts for a second.
No, we don't have time this week, Eric. We don't have time.
You're right. Okay, fine. Really quick. There was a PC game only in Japan, and then there was a mobile remake of the game. But the remake of the game actually takes place after the PC game. So you play the PC game, and then you play the mobile game. And in the mobile game, you find out that what you're doing is you're repeating what happened in the PC game that was only in Japan. So it's very confusing, and I'm for it.
Also, if we're going to talk about Square Enix being confusing, not only are they doing an enhanced remake of Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're also remaking Final Fantasy VII as a mobile title, but it's an actual straight remake this time. That'll apparently just follow the story straight, as opposed to what the remake is doing. Like,
wait, really?
Oh, God. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, they're doing.
I thought they were doing like a mobile battle royale game in the Final Fantasy VII universe.
They announced 2 mobile games, but they also announced one called, I'm not sure what the name is of the one you're talking about, but they also announced Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. And this is tweeted out from the Final Fantasy VII Remake, like the one that's on PS4 and 5 account, and it's talking about a mobile game, and it says it's a chapter-structured single-player game covering the whole of the FF7 timeline, including the events of the original game and the FF7 compilation titles, which I assume means those like movies or the Crisis Core, whatever.
Oh yeah,
was.
the
like
Advent Children, stuff like that.
Yeah, them. Yeah, but like, so they have one remake Twitter account talking about another remake, and the one, oh god, I just fucking Square Enix, man.
That's the ultimate way to play Final Fantasy VII. It's through your phone.
Apparently, yeah. I guess I don't. I mean, yeah, because I guess, well, if it's including the compilation titles, I don't think that's been done before, because the remake isn't going to do that. I guess, seeing as it's going onto its own thing. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Fucking Square Enix, man. I can't get over it.
Yeah, that's basically about all that happened with the state of play. It was not a very compelling video. It's sort of like the Nintendo Direct was disappointing. This was about that level of disappointment to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't announce Elden Ring, even though they could. Well, not announce it, but just show us something.
I was going to say.
Jeff Keighley played the game. Talked about this like half a year ago, and he's like, yeah, I played Elden Ring. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, you can run around in a horse. Okay, where's the game? Where's the gameplay trailer? Where's anything? Like, show us some promo images. All we have is like 2 leaks, and that's it. And confirmation from the developers that they're still working on it.
Yeah.
And also, going into a little bit of a tangent, I think somebody at Sony actually said that they were looking into porting more of their exclusives to PC.
Yep.
Was that Jim Ryan?
They've said that a few times. Well, Days Gone just recently got announced for PC too.
Yes. And with that, they said they're looking into porting other exclusives. Like, well, they didn't name any, but the things that come to mind is obviously, Knack, God of War, Knack 2. That's it, basically. Those are the only
PlayStation All-Stars.
PlayStation All-Stars. Those are the only PlayStation exclusives I'm looking forward to coming to the PC system.
Yeah.
Give us fucking Bloodborne already. Jesus Christ, come on. It's not fair. Like, Sekiro came out like a year ago. I've already beaten it. I've already beaten Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. Just give me Bloodborne at least. Come on. I'm not going to buy a PS4 for that. Come on.
I wonder how those third party or second party, whatever you want to call them, exclusives work, because that might be more up to FromSoft, I think. Because like for the longest time, none of the mainline Persona games had appeared on anything but a PlayStation console. And then all of a sudden, Persona 4 showed up on PC a few months ago. So I wonder if that was Sega's doing, or if maybe there was like a limited exclusivity on the series that Sony had that ran out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably Sony's decision
To let it go.
to make it exclusive.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully. I mean, well, that's not bad then if they're finally letting some of them go to PC. Because they've had a few now. They let all Quantic Dreams games go. Also, and Horizon. And they're putting MLB The Show on Xbox. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest one. Thank God that's coming to PC.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry for laughing, all of us.
Didn't they also lay off some developers from their Japan studio?
Whoa. From their Jap studio. Sounded like you almost said.
Yeah. I just noticed Alan John's wearing an eye patch right now. He must really be into piracy.
I was just about to say, that's why I started laughing. Did you see the picture?
What picture?
Oh,
sorry about that. Oh fuck! I thought it was your camera fucking up. I didn't realize you were actually.
No, this is something I wear because my left eye it's underutilized because of its bad eyesight. So my doctor told me to wear an eye patch for 30 minutes a day.
Gotcha. I thought it was your fucking camera fucking up. That's what made me start laughing. Your camera's been so sorry. All right, you can cut that out. Just
speaking of fucking up. Somebody fucked up and basically Dinosaur Planet got leaked because of this fuck up. Whatever.
that was such a great transition. Let's all appreciate that.
That was pretty amazing, honestly. Yeah, that was not bad at all.
I especially like the part where he actually said bleep.
Does anybody know what this is? Because I heard it's supposed to be like a beta version of Star Fox 64. But
no, it was
it doesn't look anything like Star Fox.
Star Fox Adventures for the Nintendo's. Wait, was it for the 64 or was it for GameCube?
Originally for the N64. So Star Fox Adventures is that game made by Rare on the GameCube. It's like an action RPG. You're running around on foot. You sometimes get into vehicles and stuff, but it's like you say as if you're like, I know what it is.
I played
people
it.
Listening, Eric.
Oh yeah.
I'm not explaining it to you.
Yeah, well, Steven, I already know, so just cut to the chase.
We can just go to the next topic on the subject. I already read that article.
Okay, fine. Explain to the morons like Alan John who've never played Star Fox Adventure for either the 360. I don't know.
Star Fox Adventures on the 360. My favorite James Bond game was James Bond 360. So it was made by Rare, and it was a very weird Star Fox name. Like I said, it's an action RPG, a lot of exploration. It doesn't play like any of the other ones, very story based, and so it started life on the N64 as a game called Dinosaur Planet. It eventually, for whatever reason, Nintendo wanted to put Star Fox into it, and then it got delayed enough that it eventually bumped back to the GameCube. But this is a beta of the version of it on the N64, and it's still called Dinosaur Planet, but it also has Star Fox in it. So it's kind of a weird middle ground. So there's a Twitter account called Forest of Illusion that sort of dumps old games. Can I say exactly who it is? Because they have a direct link to the dump on their Twitter account.
Yes, you can, because Chari posted a direct link to the Twitter, which directly links to the ROM itself, and yet she also wrote, please don't ask for any links to the ROM.
Yeah, to be fair, she didn't link to the tweet with the ROM. She just went right to their Twitter account. So you have to go digging through old tweets to find the ROM. But I guess that's it.
Or just send Alan John a PM. He'll just send it right to you.
That's not how anything works.
Just check the GBAtemp downloads page. This episode will come as a zip file of the episode and a ROM for Dinosaur Planet. And Alan John's GOG installer for Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, but it's a full little beta. I shouldn't say it's full because you can't play it you can't finish it, but it runs perfectly on flash carts apparently, and it works decently well on emulators. It's interesting. It's kind of a neat little thing if you're into Star Fox or Rare and you want to see a little bit of this history. It's not even necessarily worth hunting out and playing on its own, but definitely if you're interested in this kind of stuff, it's an interesting look.
There's only one Nintendo 64 game I want to see get leaked on the internet, and there's only one that I would download legally. Wait, how am I supposed to legally download it?
Because you'll already own it? Yeah, no,
a leak.
Fuck. Okay, my lawyer is Eric Xander. He's going to defend me against any claims from Nintendo or whatever, so deal with it. All right. The only unreleased Nintendo 64 game I'm interested in is the unreleased Mother 3 game. Now, if you guys know anything about the Mother series and its history, you should know that Mother 3 was initially developed for the Nintendo 64. It was even presented at Space World, I think, on one of Nintendo's presentations, and there was a playable, well, not a playable demo, there was like a trailer release for it, and it had gameplay in it, cutscenes, whatever. But that game never got finished because it was developed for the 64 DD. And so it got scrapped. And then years later, they decided to make the well-known Game Boy Advance game that still hasn't been localized. So I'm really interested in seeing what that Nintendo 64 Mother game would have looked like. That's the only thing I'm, waiting for from all these leaks, because we've got leaks from everything now. We've even got this Star Fox game, whatever. We got the Zelda beta. What else did we get from it? A lot of stuff. A lot of Nintendo 64 stuff, but this thing hasn't been leaked yet, and I'm just waiting for the day for that to be leaked.
Are you sure? I found a Eurogamer article that has footage of Earthbound 64, as it was known at the time.
Yep. That's it. That's it. But it's not like it hasn't been leaked, like the ROM hasn't.
Yeah, there's no beta or anything. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I think there's a better chance of that than Mother 3 actually getting released, I guess. So
why do you have to break my feelings like that, Steven?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
My hopes.
His feelings are obliterated.
Mother 3 is gonna get released on the Switch, and it's gonna get a remake.
I think we need a TV out of this conversation. Oh, what's up, boys?
Nice.
Yeah, speaking of TV out, basically, the Nintendo DS Lite and only the DS Lite had this leftover function on its SoC, which basically allowed it to output a composite video output, but it wasn't integrated into anything. So what these guys have done, they reverse engineered it and created a PCB, basically, that could actually take that output and convert it into standard analog output, with the one with the RCA cables and not HDMI.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that this actually existed in the DS Lite. It makes me wonder if this was either something that they used during development or if this was a planned feature that they scrapped almost instantly. And then this would come back years later with the Switch, which basically had the same function.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know what a DS development kit looks like. It's basically like a DS that's connected with two cables to this mini PC. It was called the Nitro.
Okay.
So I don't think that was how people developed for the DS. So yeah, this is quite interesting. Maybe at some point they plan to have to utilize the GBA port to create an adapter for that.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool that 20 years later, when did the DS Lite come out?
2006, I believe.
Yeah, almost 15 years later, we found out that the DS Lite was capable of this. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. Good on lostnintendohistory.github.
I'd say it's probably a lost feature because it seems like something that I heard people talking about for a long time that people wanted from Nintendo with the being able to switch between the handheld and the home games, just because their attention was always split between the two. I felt like I saw people talking a lot about how they wanted them to consolidate that into one. And then, like, it feels like even the Wii U was, like, kind of moving in the direction of them wanting to do, like, a somewhat TV and somewhat handheld thing. And, like, they even experimented with it as early as back as, like, the Game Boy player, didn't they? On the GameCube?
Oh yeah, you're right. But that was more of a accessory to the home console.
Yeah, it was more like a Vita TV than, like, something like this. But still, it seems like that was something they always had on their mind, was finding a way to consolidate those two halves of their business. Yeah. Either way, it is a very cool little feature. It's probably too bad. I don't know. It makes sense that it got caught. I doubt it would have worked super well back in the day, but still.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, it's a shame that Nintendo decided to abandon this feature early on in development of the DS Lite, just like EA and BioWare decided to abandon Anthem. Remember Anthem? Remember that game where you flied in an Iron Man suit around this vast, open, and empty open world, and was basically the first game as a service game by EA that tried to copy Destiny?
That came out around the same time as the DS Lite, I think, didn't it? That came out around 2006, it feels like.
It feels like that, yeah. Anthem was a disaster, and the past couple of years, they were reworking it. From what I understand, they basically apologized. BioWare apologized, said, okay, guys, we fucked up. We're sorry. We're going to work on this. We're going to make it better. And now they decided, okay, we're giving up on this.
They had kind of named the project Anthem Next, and they were looking for kind of a No Man's Sky kind of redemption story.
Yeah.
They had a lot of people put on that project, and but I mean, it feels like they gave up on it both too soon and way, way, way too late somehow. I mean, when did Anthem originally come out? It was early 2019, I believe. Right?
They sort of announced they were going to stop like after their 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So it would have been 2019.
What's interesting about the development of Anthem is, from what I recall, when the first teaser was announced for the game in E3, the developers didn't even know they were developing this game. Like, they'd never seen it before. Like, the trailer was basically just a concept. And then afterwards, EA showed it to BioWare and said, can you make this game? They were like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a game destined for success.
Yeah.
Oh,
what up?
Nice Destiny reference.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only good thing that comes from this is that EA has, it seems, from what Jason Schreier says, they've basically given up on games as a service. So they allowed BioWare to work on Dragon Age 4 as an RPG, as a single-player RPG, and they allowed them to scrap all the multiplayer aspects of the game, which were planned, because Dragon Age 4 was supposedly going to be a games as a service game, just like that scrapped Star Wars game, I think, which was initially a single-player RPG, then got scrapped and turned into like a games as a service game, and then people freaked out, like, what the fuck are you doing? No, we want a single player RPG Star Wars game. And EA was like, oh, okay, sure, okay, sorry. And they scrapped that game and basically got Fallen Order, which was a great game. I really liked Jedi Fallen Order. That was a good game.
Yeah. It's funny because that story you just described is also basically the story of Anthem, except Anthem got released before everyone was like, no, we don't want this. Like, just slightly out of order, unfortunately.
I'm not confident in the future of games. Just like, come on, we know what we want, but they think that they know what we want better than we do.
They don't think that they know what we want. They think they can tell us what we want, because games as a service have the potential to make more money. They'll probably fail because you can't have several games at once that's meant to take up all of everyone's time and income. But they all want to try it anyway because they all think they can be Call of Duty, or they'll be the Destiny or whatever, or they'll even have several of them at a time. and it just doesn't work. And I mean, it's hard to be optimistic, but I'll give EA credit for this. I mean, moving away from that is probably a smart idea. It's also a very good idea to let BioWare do what they're good at and what they're known for instead of putting them on a project like Anthem. Maybe they can rebuild some trust in their audience because people aren't crazy about BioWare right now. I don't know. I mean, I think this is a nice move. I mean, it's obviously way too small and way too early to say that that's indicative of a larger change in the industry, but this move right now is not bad news, I don't think. Hopefully it'll lead somewhere good. Because, I mean, BioWare, there's history. EA has a history of killing studios and turning them into something they're not. And we've talked about that before when we spoke about people leaving BioWare to start their own studios. So, I don't know. Maybe this is good news. Maybe this will be the one time that a studio survives EA and actually changes it a little.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Dragon Age fans.
Yeah. When was the last Dragon Age game? It was Inquisition, wasn't it?
Yep.
Like, it feels like ages ago.
It was Inquisition, and people criticized it heavily for the microtransactions it had, I think.
Oh, really? I thought people liked Inquisition. I'm not really a Dragon Age fan, but yeah. 2014, that's not as old as I thought it was, but that's still a while.
You know what is old? Pokemon. Pokemon's been around since what? The Game Boy. And it's still going.
That's like 2006, wasn't it? I think the Game Boy.
Yeah, the Game Boy, 2006. Man, it's like
around the time of the DS Lite.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Well, we're still talking about Pokemon. Everybody loves Pokemon, or you hate Pokemon, but everybody knows about Pokemon. They know about the little Pikachu character, the little Pokemon characters running around, little critters. So there's a Pokemon Direct today to complement the Sony Direct from the other day and the Nintendo Direct from the other day. So it's like we're getting lots of, I guess, Directs, even if that's not what they're all being called. But they directly talked about Pokemon. Did you guys watch it?
Yep,
I
watched it live.
Oh, me too. I as well. Well, I only watched that second half, which apparently was the good half. So you want to break things down for us?
Yep. Basically, it starts off with 10-minute montage talking about Pokemon. It's basically some guy speaking English with a very, very heavy Japanese accent, talking about stuff like card game, merchandise, clothing.
I was just about to say, I don't think you can call it talking when he's just shouting words.
It's just so weird but cool at the same time.
I was also going to say, can we do an impression of how that guy sounded? Because I think coming from any of us, it sounds a little to be like, yeah, he's just up there talking like, like, I don't know. It seems a little.
I can joke about it. You guys can't because English is my second language, right?
That's true.
I think that's
I apologize. Japanese is your first, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Arigato gomenasai. Watashi wa arano jono desu.
There you go.
Gomenasai la Tempcast.
Beautiful.
That's nice.
Thank you. And so it starts off with this montage. Basically, hey, remember Pokemon? Pokemon was cool. Remember the Game Boy? Hey, dude, remember the e-card reader for the GBA that was never released in Northern America? Or maybe it was. Yeah, cool stuff. Yeah. And then it just keeps on going.
Yeah, it goes super in depth. Like you said, it's literally 5.5 minutes long. And it goes to really weird ones. Like it says anime like 5 or 6 times, I think. It talks about the cuteness contest in Y or whichever one that was.
Yeah, no, I think that was Omega Ruby and Sapphire.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's very weird. Like, okay, maybe they did it because somebody might have accidentally clicked on the video and thinking that they were watching like an Xbox Direct or something. And it just needed to constantly remind, hey, this is Pokemon. This is cute. This is anime. This is game.
Card
this
game.
Is cell phone.
This is cable. This is cell phone.
They mentioned cable like 3 times. Like, okay.
There were so many cables. Yeah. There was one for Pokemon Snap where they go snap, and then it showed them printing out a picture, and it goes printer. Like,
what's the point of that? It might be something like Japanese that I don't get. Something culturally Japanese, like this is how they do it in Japan. This is how they introduce concepts. I don't know.
At the beginning of like a baseball game in Japan, they just walk out, bat, ball.
Homuranu.
Number 16. That's how they all do it there. Jackie Robinson. The whole history of baseball.
Tomu Brady.
The GOAT.
Yeah. So they do that, and then the Nintendo guy, the Pokemon guy, what's his name? Masuda? Is the old Pokemon man? Whatever his name is.
I'm not sure. The old Pokemon man. That was my high school nickname.
I'm not into Pokemon. I'm more of a Digimon guy. So this guy, he comes out, he's like, hey, today we're going to be talking about Pokemon. So please take a look. And they start with Pokemon Snap, and Pokemon Snap looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm digging Pokemon Snap.
It looks basically like Pokemon Snap on N64, but I'm happy with that. We haven't had one of those games in 25 years. I think the first one was, no, it wasn't 96. It was like 98 or 9, but it's been quite some time since we've had a Pokemon Snap. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It doesn't need to be anything new.
Nope. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it looks nice. It's very pretty. There's nighttime and daytime environments, and a few different things.
And you can also throw these special balls at the Pokemon, which make them glow.
Ooh,
Cool.
I missed that. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. It's not just apples anymore. Now it's glowing balls. And after that, that's when the other Pokemon guy, the younger Pokemon man, he basically comes out and he says, okay, so
Pokemon Senpai and Pokemon Sensei.
Pokemon Snap, whatever, who cares? We're going to show you the real guns we have. First off, check this out. And they show a presentation of the Diamond and Pearl remakes. And my reaction to the Diamond and Pearl remakes, it went like this.
Hold on. Before you do that, wasn't there a brief interlude with something else also? Didn't they talk about like a Johto celebration in Pokemon Go or something like that?
Yeah, no.
Pokemon Cafe Mix?
They basically have a couple of Gigantamax events in Sword and Shield. Remember Sword and Shield, those stupid games?
Yeah.
Came out for the Switch, nobody cared about, which have sold more than any other Pokemon game ever.
Yeah.
So
all thanks to that successful boycott from the Digsit.
Yeah, the boycott didn't work. But my reaction to the Diamond and Pearl remix was something like this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh. Okay. It went exactly like that, because the moment I saw the small little chibi like art style, I just, my hopes and dreams of a good Sinnoh remake just left my body. They just astral projected out far beyond.
Yeah,
mine did too. I was pretty disappointed to see that they're. I mean, I'm fine with the top-down perspective, but the fact that it didn't look improved at all. I mean, I know that it does visually look better, but it feels like just a straight up port to me.
Yeah, it's a very low effort remake. Like they're just basically copying all the assets and just turning them 3D. And instead of like trying something new, they just said, "Fuck it, chibi mode." Hey, remember Link's Awakening? That did well. So let's just do that for Pokemon.
Link's Awakening had a more distinct art style, at least. That almost looked like little toys walking around and stuff, or there was like a tactileness to it where they did look like real physical objects. These do look like chibi game art, like.
Yeah. And Link's Awakening, at least, was the remake was it divulged largely from the original game. It doesn't look like the original game. You know, you could tell that they didn't just straight up take the game from the Game Boy and throw it onto this. But this one, they just chibified everything. And, you know, well, I loved Pokemon as a kid. But until we get every single one of them on the Switch, I'm not going to care. Like, you know, this doesn't bring every Pokemon back. I don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's a good argument because, okay, this one isn't like Sword and Shield. You don't have Pokemon running around and stuff. So it should have all the standard Pokemon, right? All of them. Mm-hmm. It would make sense.
Yeah. Have they said anything on that?
No.
No.
No, they haven't said anything on it, but like still, I mean, it's going to have the Pokemon that are available in Sinnoh or whatever, but you're not going to be able. We still don't have all of the Pokemon available in Sword and Shield, and they keep adding more and more, but like they could have used this game as an opportunity to bring. Maybe they will use it to bring more, but until we get all of them, I seriously don't care. And I might be in the minority here. Like, I know that it was a big problem when sort of it was first talked about that it wasn't, Sword and Shield wasn't going to have all of the Pokemon, but I think most people have since calmed down. I have not calmed down. I'm still grouchy about it. And it soils everything Pokemon related to me. It's like, Eric, why are you talking about this when we're talking about the Diamond and Pearl remakes? I'm like, because it's relevant. Because they still haven't brought them all back. What are we talking about here?
I was going to say, do you think that they'll do every... What these Diamond and Pearl was the 4th generation, right? So do you think they'll do everything up to Gen 4? Or everything from Gen 4 at least? Or
They'd have to.
They would have to do everything from Gen 4 at least, but I don't know if that means that there's necessarily going to be every Pokemon from 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. It feels like there should be, but...
There should be, but also you couldn't catch all Pokemon from 1, 2, and 3 on, in the DS version of Diamond and Pearl. You had to use you had to transfer them over from your Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's fair.
But now what you can do instead is you can transfer your Pokemon Go Pokemon to Let's Go, and then you can use the Pokemon Home app, and then transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee into Pokemon Home, which is only $10 a year or something. Then you might, if the developers want to, trade that Pokemon into your game. Into Brilliant Diamond and
Shining Pearl, I believe it's called. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just so disappointed. They could have done so much more with the Sinnoh region, which is so big and vast. They could have made a straight up open world Pokemon game with Diamond and Pearl, but instead they just gave us a chibi little cutesy fan game. It's not even being developed by Game Freak.
Well, okay, I'll start with something you said. Have none of the remakes up to this point have done anything as drastic as going open world, have they? I don't believe so. And I mean, no. Do you think people would be more upset at that they weren't staying faithful, or would they want to see something that new?
For a remake, I would want it to be the same. I in terms of, I wouldn't want it to be an open world. That said, I think that this remake looks ugly. That's my problem. Is they should have made it look better.
Yeah, so it's just the art style for you.
The art style is what's bothering me.
There is no artistic consistency in these games. Look, let's just take the Switch, right? You have Let's Go, Pikachu, Eevee. You got Sword and Shield, and you got Brilliant Diamond, whatever Pearl, right? They all look completely different. They only look like Pokemon in the battle scenes, and that's it.
Yeah.
In the overworld, it's completely different. There's no style to it. You can't just look and say, okay, is this a new Pokemon? No, this is the old Pokemon, because they're small and, the towns are literally grids. Yeah, this is the old Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like Zelda where it's okay for all the games to not have a consistent style. This is Pokemon where it's there's always been sort of a consistency between the games. We can trade between games, but yeah, it just seems like it's diverged into so many different directions. Basically, it's fractured. There's no easy way. In fact, I can't think of any way to get every single Pokemon that ever existed into one game. You can't do it. There's not a single game that'll let you do it anymore. And it used to be you could get every game that you've played since the Game Boy Advance all the way up to the 3DS. And now you can't. So I'm bringing it back there. It's fractured so much to the point where it's it's lost its way to me.
I think Game Freak might have just accidentally fractured your butt.
so stupid. That's so stupid.
What up,
John?
Eric? Eric, stop trying to defend you. You just got fucking wrecked. There's no comeback to that. No, Eric.
I know. I got wrecked,
Eric,
but still, it's fucking stupid.
Oh my god. It's a good thing you fucking took out the lawyer, because that was a live murder on the air right there. Holy shit.
Oh, man. Okay, you know what does have potential, but I think will inevitably be fucked up?
Hold on, sorry. Before we move on to that, I was going to say, you were talking about, Alan John, that these are fan games, that they're not made by Game Freak. Obviously, they're not fan games. They're made by the people that have been making Pokemon Home. Given how little faith you have in Game Freak, does the fact that Game Freak isn't involved in these give you any extra hope or faith in them?
No, absolutely not. I mean, here's the thing. They're going to be good games on their own, right? The badness, because Diamond and Pearl are good games. Like Gen 4 is a good gen. The thing is, my biggest issue is that they didn't do more with this. Like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire look like they had more effort put into them than this. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah. But do we have that much information on these yet? This was only a short announcement trailer, wasn't it? I mean, these are coming out in late 2021. There might be more coming, not in terms of the visuals, obviously, but maybe there's more features being added. Maybe there's more something else.
I mean, it's gonna take a lot to convince me, because this was supposed to be the game that I was like, oh, okay, now I'm getting a Switch. If I can play Diamond and Pearl, relive those childhood memories. But this I don't want. I can just use an emulator if you're gonna do the exact same thing 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there's going to be any endgame content?
Well, the end game content for Platinum at least was tied to the online functionality.
Really?
I think a lot of it. Yeah, I think there was this mini game where you went underground basically, and you had to dig up fossils and stuff, and you could meet other trainers in the underground.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that was in all three. I played that in Pearl. I totally forgot about that, but yeah.
I think I saw like a small bit of that in the trailer. I might be wrong. It might be just a cave somewhere, but it looked like the same thing. So they might be integrating that into here. But I remember that the post game content for Gen 4 was pretty good.
Well, if it was good for Diamond and Pearl, I don't know if it'll necessarily be incorporated into this new game because of the fact that Alpha Ruby and Omega Ruby and whatever, Ruby and Sapphire, they cut the Battle Frontier.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was so stupid.
That was stupid. Because the Battle Frontier was like that was the best post-game content in any Pokemon game that I can think of. I don't think anything's topped it. So,
all right,
depressing. You know what does have sort of potential, which is probably going to be soiled, is the other Pokemon game that they announced, Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I thought for the longest time was pronounced Arceus, but it turns out that guy called him Arceus.
Wait, really? What the?
Yeah, he said Arceus several times. As a child, I always called him Arceus. I've always called him Arceus.
Dr. House called it Arceus, right?
I don't know how it's pronounced, but
Dr.
the dude
House,
said
like
Arceus.
Hugh Laurie?
Yep.
Weird.
Why was he talking about Pokemon?
Why was he talking about Arceus? that's a obscure pull.
There was an episode in like 2009
Yeah.
or something where basically he was talking about no such thing as a god. And if you're like into God, I recommend checking out Arceus. He was playing like on a DS at the same time. I'm sorry for my terrible Dr. House impression. That was literally the first time I was doing that.
I don't know if you're lying or not.
No, I'm not lying.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Google Dr. House talks about Pokemon. It's real. I promise.
Okay, all right. I'll do that later. It's a little homework for everyone this week.
I'm going to continue to call him Arceus just because I have my confirmation bias. Because not only do I call him that, but my brother and all of my childhood friends do as well. So
And Hugh Laurie.
yeah, apparently, allegedly. So yeah,
It's the lawyers talking.
it's going to be cool. It takes place a long time ago during the creation of the first Sinnoh Pokédex, which is kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to add any new Pokemon.
Sinnoh is which region again?
The Diamond and Pearl region.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because Arceus was the big boy. He's basically the god Pokemon who created everything, not to be confused with Mew, who also did that. I guess it's confusing, but yeah. So this is going to be cool. It could be cool. It takes place a long time ago. I don't know if they're going to add any new Pokemon. It's not like evolution's a thing in Pokemon. It's not like Pokemon evolved in the past 1,000 years or so.
Evolution is definitely a thing in Pokemon, but yeah, I know what
I
you
don't
mean.
think so.
No,
I don't think so.
I mean when you get it to level 35 and it evolves from a.
No, I don't think that evolution exists in Pokemon. So that's just my theory, and you can't change my mind. Okay. There's such a stupid joke. So anyway, yeah, you get what's interesting is the 3 starter Pokemon are Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and I don't recognize the other one. I don't remember which one it was.
Owldude.
Oh, Rowlet.
Rowlet.
That's his name. Rowlet, Oshawott, and Cyndaquil. So of course everybody's going to pick Cyndaquil because he's cool. Cyndaquil. So yeah, I just find it funny that if it's like the creation of the first Pokédex, are you like one of the first Pokemon trainers? Like they already got Pokeballs, so you're already capturing things. Also, it means that Professor Oak was really, really bad at his job when he's like, "There's 150 Pokemon." It's like, bitch, the Sinnoh Pokédex was made a long time ago.
Well, maybe this is like ancient history. Like maybe you're part of a civilization that died out, and all of this progress was lost, and there was an ice age on Earth, and then civilization started over, and. So maybe this is millions of years before the other Pokemon games.
It's like the assassins, and then the bad guys are going to be the Templars.
Yeah,
using Pokemon for evil. Well, yeah, in the town. Oh my gosh, yeah, in the Templars, because they're like Christian. They're gonna be like, we're gonna hide the fact that Pokemon can evolve. That's the thing. So you're either pro or anti-evolution.
They're like the Sinnoh region is only 6,000 years old.
Nice. I figured out. I'm sorry for the spoilers on this podcast, everybody.
Honestly, I really liked that announcement because it's like a Game Freak actually listened to criticism. Like, okay, you keep posting these images of Breath of the Wild and saying, "Hey, we want this, but with Pokemon. Here, take it." That's what they did, basically. Even the trailer copies some moments from the Breath of the Wild trailer, even.
Does it?
Like, the scenery looks the same. Even the art style looks the same. It's the same, like, cel-shaded... not cel-shaded, but, the same kind of watercolor type of feel.
Yeah.
What still confuses me is the entire Pokemon timeline. It's now... I just don't understand. Okay, how do you have... like feudalism and Pokeballs at the same time? How does this work?
That's what I was actually going to say that I'm really excited about with this is the Pokemon world has never really felt that expanded. Like I feel like having Pokemon in the world would change everything, and they've always basically told the same story of like you're a kid in a house and then you go to 8 towns and then the game is over, and like but the fact that they're like going back to an older time period and it's a little bit more open now, and like it feels like there might actually be some lore building to this is actually kind of interesting to me. Like I'm not a Pokemon fan, but this has kind of gotten my attention. Specifically because of weird stuff of how there's Pokeballs and feudal Sinnoh, whatever it's called.
No, I just want to say Game Freak did the right thing by not creating another generation just from scratch, creating a new region, creating new Pokemon. No, they did something that should have been done a long time ago, like a couple of gens ago. Just focus on one gen, one region, and then expand upon it.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. That's what they did first time with Gen 2, which basically expanded upon Gen 1, which everybody liked, but then for some reason they stopped doing that. And they're returning back officially into Sinnoh, set in a different time period, which is great. We've never seen any Pokemon region set in that time period. And what I love is that they use previous Pokemon, like from previous gens. Instead of creating new starters, they gave you 3 starters, basically, from different gens. And they're all the worst starters, their respective gens. Which is great, because now these terrible starters, which nobody ever picks, have a chance to be picked in a mainline Pokemon game.
Well, is this a mainline Pokemon game?
It is. It's made by Game Freak.
I guess. Is that the only criteria for a mainline Pokemon game? I mean,
it's a canon Pokemon game.
It absolutely is.
Sure, canon. The deep Pokemon.
You know how
canon.
I hope it ends? I hope that you become whatever the equivalent of a Pokemon. I hope that your character becomes the very first Pokemon master, and you're like, yeah, I did it, Reddit. And you catch Arceus. Immediately afterwards, Kyogre and Groudon start fighting, and the world is destroyed.
It'd be awesome.
And and it turns out you thought that this was a backstory to the Sinnoh region. No, Hoenn.
Whoa.
No,
There you go.
That's not how it works.
The last thing your character sees, as he's dying, as he looks up, Rayquaza's coming to stop the fight, and then he dies, and then that's it. Sorry for the spoilers on this podcast, everybody.
Honestly, that sounds so badass that if that actually happened, I'd forgive everything that Game Freak has done. I'd buy every single Game Freak game. I'd buy like a Switch.
By Little Town Hero.
You guys listening don't know this, but Alan, John, Steven, and I, we often write Pokemon fan fiction. We send it to each other. A lot of it involves low punny, but for the most part, sometimes we have some action sequences.
In between the action.
Alan John's really into Pikachu. I don't really understand it, but you know. Steven wants to get crushed by Groudon.
Yep. It's my thing. Step on me.
A couple of things I actually noticed about the game from a technical point of view. It's most likely based off of Sword and Shield's engine, because I've seen some very, very rough things, but I'm not going to criticize Game Freak because they've actually done something that has been asked of them for a very long time, so good on them. But there are some very, very rough edges in this game. Like there was a scene with Chimchar, and Chimchar is like 5 feet away from the main character, and you can see his animation is very choppy. And at first I thought that my video was lagging, but no, everything else was moving smoothly. But the Pokemon animations...
Oh, well, the video was definitely lagging. It was definitely buffering that entire time.
The Pokemon animations were like very stiff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're doing the same thing that was in Sword and Shield, because if you go far enough distance from Pokemon, their animations basically drop from 30 frames per second to like 5 frames per second.
Whack.
Did we talk about how it looks kind of like open worldy? Did that get covered, or did we only talk about how it takes place in the past?
No, we mentioned it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we spoke about it though. I might have missed it.
Wait, aren't all Pokemon games open world?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but this one is, I don't know, it looks less restrictive. Yeah, there's like wide open areas.
This is the Breath of the Wild one.
Yeah, there's wide open areas here, which every other Pokemon game has been fairly narrow whenever it presents you with an area, it seems. Right?
This is actually the Pokemon game that if it's actually good, from what I see, it's intriguing and a little bit rough on the edges, but if this one is good, then I'm buying a Switch.
Nice. All right. Well, early 2022. You better start saving now. Just in case it's good. And then if it ends up sucking, you can just spend all that money, throw it back into crypto.
Throw it all in crypto.
How do we end this? How do we end this?
How do we end this? How do we end this? How do we end this? How do we end this? How do we end this? How do we end this? How do we end this?